Hi, this is Dave Bazar, and this is the latest. Unfortunately, Louis Gill couldn't be here today. He's way too busy. So I'm going to have to try to step out of my expertise and give you a little talk on hull split spray. So here we are, the end of June. It's coming quick. Louis actually sent a picture of some splits that he found today. These were good nuts. They weren't blanks. So that was a little surprising. It seems a little early, but I think we all think that maybe this crop will be a shade early. Time will tell. But timing, right? Traditionally, it's always for us centered around the 4th of July. So this year, we think it is probably going to hop in a little bit before that. Some of that is how we apply our chemicals now, right? In the past, we used heavier stuff. Now we're trying to use a little more soft chemistry. We're using several of them, one of which, not that I'm recommending anything, is an Intrepid Edge. So those chemicals have a soft approach with a little bit of a knockdown. So those chemicals can be applied earlier. So now our timing is before hull split. You've got a residual that'll last, if I remember Louis telling me, 18 to 21 days. You're coming on early to try to get ahead of the game. In our applications, we're also throwing in a ovicide and a miticide along with these chemicals. Though some of you probably can get away without that, but for us, we're using those. We have puffers in some of our fields. They still need this initial application. So we're also using electrostatic sprayers, and I think there's several different approaches with those. I've heard from several people that are using lower volume with them, 25, 35 gallons, something like that. I think we're still a little bit old school and go up to 100 gallons, particularly if we think we have a mite problem, heavy mite pressure, then we're going to maybe tend to go 100 plus, up to 200 gallons to try to get that miticide to control those insects. So a little bit about what we're seeing on insect pressure. This year it's been a bit of a mixed bag. We're finding higher counts some areas, less on others. I know we did have quite a bit of plant bug issue, so you know, it seems like it's depending on the species. Definitely we're having more mite pressure. So I think across the board there is a heavy mite year. The navel orangeworm, I think a mixed bag. Electrostatic sprayer, we try to keep below 2.5 miles an hour, particularly if we're soaking them heavy, maybe below 2 miles an hour. We'll have calibrated those rigs prior to starting this application. Just a little bit of finish on that. So once we get that first application on, we will have our irrigators start in 15, 20 days later to start cracking nuts across the field to try to look at your control, try to see what's going on out there, and we'll continue that practice on through. As most of you know, that insect pressure is really built up on the later varieties much more. We're seeing higher insect level damage on Monterey than we are Nonpareil. And if I go back in my history, that didn't used to be that way. So those later varieties obviously need to be covered as well. So that's a little bit about what we're doing on this all-important spray. Hopefully you learned something. That's been Dave Bazar, and this is the latest.